Um, Today is Tuesday, July 8th. We took an L today. Um, Honestly, a very surprising day for me. I was expecting, I took this trade full risk, and I was expecting higher prices, but it's kind of deep. So let's just get into it. All right, on the daily, I'm looking around this daily wick on NASDAQ. This one right here on the Monday, June 30th. Monday, June 30th. And I'm looking, how price is reacting off there because I'm still keeping in mind my weekly bias of coming into this weekly fair value gap. However, today I was bullish biased after I saw how smooth our relative equal highs were on NASDAQ. So here, honestly, I want to delete some stuff, but let me delete some shit. This can go. Actually, no, that can stay. It just looks kind of messy, but I'll just kind of get into it. So we opened a New York session. We left a bunch of relative equal highs, and I was looking for them to be taken. So we opened around here, put in our first presented for value gap, and then I was looking for a take of these lows right here. So after we took these lows right here, the sell side, I was looking for longs around this 0.25 level. It was still grinding lower, and then I'm noticing the time, how it's around like 10:11, 10:20. So I'm like, all right, we still have time in order to get up to this high. So then we come down, we soup this low, and then we start to break higher. And all through here, I'm looking for 3 minute. I'm looking for a 3 minute setup to the upside because we have our breakup structure, we have our sweep, breakup structure, and then our fair value gap right here. We have one fair value gap, and then we have another. And I was looking at ES because we had a larger time frame SMT at this sell side. So you see how we just left this right here and then started pushing up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking at ES. I want to take a trade to ES towards our buy side. All of it, our London buy side, our New York buy side, and then our 4-hour order block up here on ES. So, I was looking at this 3 minute, and then right here we get a bearish close in our first 3 minute fair value gap. And on NASDAQ, if you take a look on NASDAQ, we had a bullish close. And keep in mind, my entry style is the bullish candle close of the upper fair value gap if we're bullish. So we didn't have that on ES, but we had on NASDAQ. So that's no trade. And even I would have got stopped on NASDAQ, but that's how I prevented that loss with basically trading the stronger pair, which would be ES. So we didn't put in that high. We melted lower. And this is where it gets spicy because I'm like, all right, this is even better. We come down in the macro and we take out our sell side, the one that we left relative equal lows on. So I was like, all right, this is perfect. So now I'm going to switch over to NASDAQ. And I think this was kind of my mistake because ES was a little bit more messy. However, it was the same, kind of idea. We put in our liquidity sweep and we break structure when we close above this high, and then we put in 2 fair value gaps. And I'm looking. I'm like, all right, put these in. We put in this high, and I'm like, all right, that's a good trade to take. We're not bearish enough, we're not weak enough to take to want to come down to this order block. And then also on the 5 minute, we had basically, you see, there's no retracement when we take this high, and there's no retracement when we take this low. I'm basically thinking the same thing. Perfect. We're not going to retrace on a larger time frame like the 2 minute or 3 minute, and we're just going to keep going higher because we didn't break any structure on the 2 minute or 3 minute. So I was like, all right, perfect. Looks heavy in one direction, in this case bullish. Entered, and then I like to see that strong close after I enter, and it was good. Reacted off 0.25 of that daily wick, and we started to push higher. And then let me delete this alert if it'll let me. Yeah. We started to push higher. I'm like, all right, bet. We're good to go. And then we start consolidating. And at this moment, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to be at the mercy of the market because I don't know. It's my trade setup. There's nothing I would be concerned about. It was heavy risk because that's how I was even more basically convicted to take the trade. And yeah, it just didn't play out. It just kind of melted lower, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just push up after this shit because You know, that's how the market wants to do. But honestly, the only thing I would probably improve on is, since I switched over to take it on NASDAQ because it looked a little better, I could have taken it on ES, because my break even and my break even was going to be getting above first presented for value gap. And on ES, we did. You know, as you can tell, we got above it, and my stop loss to be at that low. We did get above it, and I would have been break even, and it would have prevented a big loss. But honestly, there was nothing I could do because, you know, it took on NASDAQ. So I was like, all right, I'm not worried. We got above on ES. NASDAQ should have some kind of willingness to go higher. And we didn't. So I was like, all right, that's what it is. And then we just melted lower, took stop loss. And then now we are doing nothing. So I'm just really surprised on how we kind of played around today. It's in this daily wick, which is why I think that price is just not as probable as I expected it to be. But it's just very messy. And I woke up 6:30 this morning for pre-market. But then, you know, once you kind of get up and realize, you know, like you're looking at pre-market, you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to find a trade. It's going to be better in the AM session, especially when we left all these relative equal highs. Like once we left these up here, I was like, all right, this is going to be a good New York session to aim towards our buy side. We swept this high just barely, and then there's no SMT either at that high. It's all relative. Like if you look, I think it's right here. Right here, we swept this high, and then we left that high untouched. So I don't know. I thought we had a clear buy side draw, and even this kind of gave me suspect. You know, this massive push down. I would not really expected us to take this low again. That could have been like a tell that we're more bearish than I thought. But honestly, I don't think I wouldn't change anything of how I traded. It was honestly a good loss. Maybe identifying when I should go break even, but you know, there's really nothing I can do about that. You know, but it kind of says like, you know, it's kind of like, damn, you know, entered. We lost about 2K across all accounts, so like 2K total. But yeah, no, that's just the name of the game. You know, there's nothing really about it. That's just how it is. You know, I'm gonna do a video post market just to kind of see where the market ended off, but I have to be done for the day. I put max risk on this trade, and yeah, I don't really think there's anything I can improve. Regardless of that, like I don't know. You know, we had the sell side, and we even tapped into our. If you go on the 15-minute, we tapped into a order block on the 15-minute. So I was like, all right, even better. We tapped into it first at like 10:15. That got our strong rejection, but then, you know, we manipulated more to sell, and then we tapped in lower to it. So I was like, all right, even better. Take that long, and yeah. So that's kind of how it goes. I saw, you know, the market was just kind of whack this morning, but you know, what can I do? It's kind of just like a tell for emotions. Like you just gotta stay locked in. You kind of have to stay focused and be like, you know, it's your setup. Accept the loss. That's kind of something that I have to kind of. I mean, I don't even say learn. I'd say you know, just kind of get used to, because you know, I'm really not used to kind of this kind of playing out. And you know, maybe the one thing is the time, because I took it at like 11 o'clock, but we still have 10 minutes in that macro to get up there, and I thought we would be pretty strong to get up there. But this daily wick, you guys can kind of see right there. I'll mark it out. That's like our consolidation zone. Like we're just fucking around in there, and then anything above it, it's just like whatever. Anything below it, it's just like whatever. But yeah, I mean, bias I think was still right. We'll see how we end off today with. I'm gonna do a post market review just to see how my bias played out, and then what kind of I want to see going into tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stay locked. Y'all stay safe, and that is it.